So hey, we got a very special guest with us today. You may have noticed that Logan has either drastically changed since the last episode or is not with us because we got Chad from DoorSystems.com. I was kind of thinking last night, Chad, after we were chatting, like, I don't really know how long I've known you, but it feels like it's been a long time. Like, I don't remember, I can't pin down the first time we
Yeah,
met.
it's sporadic. I live in South Florida,
Yeah.
so I can only get up this way a few times a year. So I'm guessing at this point it's probably been about 6 years or
Yeah.
so. Either meeting at Expo East or Rooftop Tent Rally or one of
Yeah. I
one
think
of
we
those
were at Georgia Bushcraft
Georgia
gathering at the
Bush,
same time
yeah,
once.
Georgia Bushcraft Gathering.
How'd you like that?
I loved it. I thought
Yeah.
it was great. Luckily got to go. I think it was the second year they did it, and it was still really small.
Yeah.
And seeing any event that's small, but the excitement was there.
Yeah.
Everyone was really excited about it. Had a great time.
Yeah, we've been going the last couple of years pretty consistently, and I think Casey's up 800,000 people kind of for like the weekend
Wow.
now. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
It's
grown.
gotten
When I went, I think
It's turned
it was
into
like
something.
150,
Yeah.
something like that.
So,
Yeah, we went in some early years and then skipped a few and then
Yeah.
have been back pretty consistent. So
yeah. So if you don't know, Chad is the owner, operator, sole proprietor, would it be
That's
safe
it.
to say,
There it
of
is.
DrawerSystems.com. And we've had the chance to check out some of his drawer builds. Gosh, I mean, there's a few of that I've seen of yours that have been out there for a while with like Jim's old rig and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do, kind of like how you got started, and maybe we'll dive in
Yeah,
more
so-
like general organization and stuff.
Getting started, the goal for me in overlanding, camping, car camping, whatever you want to call it, I grew up in Eastern Connecticut, so I spent a lot of time outdoors.
Yeah.
We did a lot of camping in the summers, and living in Miami, there's not a lot of outdoors unless you go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I wanted my kids to experience.
not a
Yeah.
lot of outdoors.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Unless you go real far north or the Everglades, right?
yeah. You can go to the Everglades, but the mosquitoes are about this big.
Yeah.
It's
For those that are listening on audio, it's bigger than a quarter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not. It can be fun, but it's not fun like up here.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I wanted to get the kids to experience some of the outdoors like I did. So, I discovered overlanding and found, I started seeing all these amazing rigs being built in Australia and South Africa and, in the United States as well. So decided upon a Land Rover LR3 as my base vehicle to start from because all I need to do is put all-terrain tires on it. And I figured I could just throw the kids in there and go. So I did.
Could you get your mechanic's license at some point during that?
Yeah, no.
'Cause that's required to have.
Right. So I always tell
Rover,
people
right?
there's 3 things you need if you're buying a Land Rover. It's either a warranty, deep pockets, or some knowledge of mechanical
Yeah.
things. So if you have any one of those, you're all right.
okay.
So I learned the mechanical part
Yeah.
somewhat.
I saw a badge once on a Land Rover, and it was like an official metal badge, and it was like Land Rover turning drivers into mechanics since
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that the LR3 has been absolutely fantastic.
yeah.
I'm currently on an LR4. There's certain things that you like you get into the community and you almost know what to expect. What's going to go wrong, and I think if you plan for that, the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's really been fantastic for us. So
And LR3s have done well. I mean, they're just. I mean,
there's some of them with like 500,000 miles on them, and they're going.
So an average Land Cruiser.
Yeah. There you go.
There's a few of them that made it to average Land
Yeah.
Cruiser status. No,
You're right. I mean, I think of like the newer Land Rovers, the LR3 seems to have like kind of fared the best. And
yeah.
I think aesthetically, it still looks very Land Rover.
Yeah, you don't know what year it is. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And I have an '05 right now at home, and people are like, "Oh, what year is that?" And they're like, "Is this 2014 or?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, it's almost 20 years old."
Yeah.
So if
Almost
you think
gets
about it.
antique plates in
Yeah.
Virginia anyway.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't build it. I just took it on a solo camping trip, and I did the whole Home Depot tote.
Yeah.
What I call the Home Depot tote shuffle. It's like when you go to a campsite and you see nothing but black and yellow lids all over.
Yeah.
So it was like, wait, which tote did I put this in?
Yeah.
So I remember doing that, and I went home and I was like, I want to build something in the back. So I looked around. I didn't have the budget to actually buy one, like a Goose Gear or like a name brand, ARB or something like that. So I kind of started building one. And then had really no carpentry experience. I just, had basic hand tools.
Yeah.
I actually started reaching out to people on Instagram that were close in proximity to me, carpenters. And I said, hey, could you help me build something like this? Help me, meaning like I'll go and, make you take longer to do it.
Yeah.
And this guy named Rusty from the Drawer Dude, he's down in South Florida. He's like, that sounds like a cool idea. He's like, come up on a Saturday. And then like we made the basic box for my first drawer system.
Yeah.
And then I took that and then I ended up finishing it. And it took me, let's say a month or so to finish.
Yeah.
We went camping. And then I realized what was wrong with it. And I came home. I ripped it apart.
Started over. Yeah.
Built it again.
Sounds like all my vehicles.
We went camping. Realized what was wrong with it. So I did this like 3 times.
Yeah.
Over the course of like 7 months. And then finally got it dialed where I liked it. And then that was it. We used it for about a year. And it was awesome. I painted it with Raptor liner, which I'm still using to this day to coat all the drawer systems. And about a year after it, I decided to sell it. Posted it on Instagram, and I had like people fighting for it, and it sold in like 10 minutes, and it blew my mind.
Oh wow!
And it's still so my friend Aaron, he still has it to this day in his LR3.
Oh cool!
And so the very first one is still in use, and it still works exactly like it was.
Yeah.
And this is back 2017, so 7 years ago.
Oh nice!
That was the first drawer that I built.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, I have that problem with trucks. I get them like really dialed in, and then I'm like, I should sell this.
Change it.
Yeah. I need another one. I need
You were saying that yesterday. You get things too perfect, you're like,
I got one that like everything I ever wanted was done to it. Like I just like checked every box that should be checked that I've wanted to check, and I just haven't. And then I sold it, and I'm.
Yeah, but the sub had like this weird gray period where it was like, I'm gonna sell, I'm not gonna sell.
Yeah.
The Suburban was really dialed. And I mean,
know.
if you want to buy it back, it's just down the road.
That's true. I don't know that I could get it back at this point because I think he really likes it, and I may have to pay too much for it to get it back. But
yeah, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how this hobby is, right? It is a hobby, right? So we're kind of modifying all these vehicles to do the hobby.
Yeah.
But part of the actual hobby itself
is
the
building.
modification.
Yeah, sure.
Is the build.
Yeah, especially I think for folks that can't get out just all the time. You're
like me.
You're spending the time in between working on your organization.
Think about Rodney.
Yeah.
Oh, truck's done. Gotta sell it. Oh, truck's done. Gotta sell it.
Yeah.
Truck's done. Gotta sell it.
Listeners might remember, I guess it was about this time last year, we had Rodney on an episode where we were talking about like how many trucks he has had. And I know we joke about this a lot, but there's been 2 since then, right? Since he recorded that episode.
Yes.
Sometime in October of last year.
There's been 2.
He got rid of the JLU, which was like new car smell because it was a new car when he got here.
Yeah.
And picked up a Mojave Gladiator, which he brought back up here on another trip early last year.
Yeah.
And then passed that along to his wife and is back in a
Tundra.
3rd gen Tundra, right? Or,
3rd gen Tundra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 options. I guess there's 3. You keep things forever, you get them where you want them, and then you move them along, or you just install a rotating driveway. That's what Rodney has. Where
yeah.
Just in and out.
Yeah.
He's got a lady in the back that does the paperwork, like at the halfway point of the circle. So.
Halfway point of the circle. It's like an auction.
Yeah.
He's got the tag agency at his house.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, I bet that somebody in his county is like, is this dude running a car lot?
Right.
Out of his yard?
How's he take a loss every now?
Yeah.
Got him on speed dial.
Right.
Hey, I need a new license plate for this one.
They just have like pre-filled out forms over here.
Yeah.
Well, you said 2017, so wow, I feel like then I must have really seen some of your first units that you had built, because I'm thinking like Trey's Land Rover, Jim's old Rover.
Well, I didn't do Trey's.
Okay.
Yeah, Trey did his own.
Yeah, Trey did his own.
Yeah,
Trey
okay.
did his
But
own.
Jim
Trey
had one
would-
of yours like
Yeah,
pretty
Jim,
early, right?
Jim. So after I sold that first one, then people were like, "Wait a minute, are you building these now?" So I had a few people here and there start reaching out, and it really wasn't until about 2019, 2020 or so that I started really thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then, like with the new Defender, when that came out, I had a connection with our local dealership.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's like 3 Land Rover dealerships. Shout out to Warren Henry Auto down in South Florida, and they let me literally, when the Defender came to the lot,
Yeah.
they they let me just go and take all the measurements and
nice.
spend as much time as I want. Not in the showroom doing it, but
Yeah.
I brought tools and everything else, and I started mocking up the first Defender drawer system.
Oh, nice.
In the lot of Land Rover South Dade.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I started thinking about taking it seriously. And around the same time, I started getting the domain and the social media names and all of that. And then with Jim, he had that Land Rover LR3. He came down from Georgia, down to Miami, and then I built his in like 3 days.
Yeah.
So he ended up staying with me down there, and then went back. I don't do that for all the clients. So if you're listening out there,
That's very good qualifier. When you purchase a DrawerSystems.com,
there's plenty of hotels nearby.
room and board is not included.
Room and board is not included.
You can have an Airbnb listing for like a cot in your garage.
Well, it's funny. I had a travel trailer at one point, and I thought about it. I was like, come down, you get a drawer system, you can stay in the travel trailer.
Right.
Has power and air.
Right.
Yeah.
All the things you need in Miami.
Yeah, exactly.
Air conditioning.
So I know for a while you were going really as bespoke, like essentially, what do you drive and what do you want to put in your drawers, right? That was about
as crazy as you can think about it. It's I can fit that in there.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still all custom.
Exactly. It's not all custom. So I have a few base models that you can pick from. That's
what I was going to say, because like the Weekender and the Overlander, right? Like,
right. But with the Weekender and the Overlander, it's we had it listed for the Grenadier, but it's realistically I could do that for Jeep, Toyota 4Runner 5th gen, the Defender, the Land Rover LR3, LR4, the Lexus. So the idea behind like my base drawers is you can pick from like 2 drawers, a single drawer, 2 drawers and a table, or you could go like a higher model and then add a couple of drawers in. So realistically, like each vehicle has a base size that fits the vehicle specifically. It's not like, I can put the LR3 drawer into a 4Runner. No, it's a little short. It might be a little shorter, a little wider, but overall the height will be the same.
Yeah.
So I have a few standardized models, but then the other thing is most people that come to me have custom requests, custom requirements. I have this stove or I have this fridge.
Yeah.
Can you integrate it? And, based on the car and the thing, then that's what I do is try and integrate it.
The one that was in your truck at Expo, I thought that was a really slick setup. You've got the smaller drawer fridge, which is still like 35 liters, right?
Yeah, it's almost, I think it's rated as a 40-liter drawer style fridge.
I think people maybe underestimate that because of the orientation of the storage, but but then it allows you to kind of like go with that access option for your table slide out, your drawers.
It's quick access.
Yeah, because your one drawer in yours is massive. I mean, you've got like a huge amount of space in that bottom one. Yeah.
Yeah, with the drawer fridge sitting where it is, I still have like I call it like the cutlery drawer.
Yeah.
And that one is almost 30 inches long.
Yeah.
And then the table that slides out under it is again almost 30 inches. So it almost comes out 5 feet from the back of the vehicle.
Yeah. Wow.
So
it was really slick.
Realistically, it's all about in my vision. It's all about maximizing the space for the use.
Yeah.
And in my case, I wanted everything all in one. So that the one that I have in my personal rig, it has a refrigerator. It has the cutlery drawer. It has the table, the prep table. But where I took it the next level is I actually integrated a 6-gallon water tank inside the drawer itself.
Yeah.
Or drawer box, call it. Still have 2 other drawers for storage. And then on the front trim panels that have the ARB air chuck on the outside, like a quick connect, water output, my power meter. It has the AC, so 110 outlets, and then DC power, solar input. And then on the back side of the drawer system behind the seats, it has 2 lithium batteries, 2,000 watt inverter. Literally everything is all in one. And the whole thing could be put in or taken out in about 10 minutes. And that was the idea.
So does that come out on a plate? So it's basically on a base plate?
No, it slides right into the back of the vehicle. So I have a 3rd row.
Right.
And so I designed it so when folded down, it just slides in and connects to the factory D-rings in the back of the vehicle.
But is it all one unit when it comes out?
One unit, yeah.
Okay, so it has like a base plate that it sits on, or that you pull the base plate out with it?
It's just one
all
box.
Integrated, okay.
Yeah, so the bottom of it, everything's all like, think of a box and then the drawers built into it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That would be slick.
Yeah.
slick being able to like remove that. I've had like the sub had drawers that were, I don't know, 50 some odd. Interior of the drawer was 54 inches or something, and that box weighed 9 million. But like we moved it in with a with a forklift basically.
Oh wow.
Or forks on a tractor. Like it weighed so much.
And these aren't like
You'd have
because people are always asking
to move it.
Yeah, like, you're not just yanking that out to run to Lowe's.
Right.
Yeah, people are always asking too. Is like how much does it weigh? Well, most of my regular drawer systems are around 100 to 125 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And wherever the bottom is or there's non-structural, I'll actually cut out holes like in the bottom, like a square hole, round over the corner. It's all painted, everything. And then that reduces. I can shave off 4 pounds here, 4 pounds there.
Yeah. Because that would be important. That 125 pounds is 2-person liftable. Or 100 pounds in that range.
I move them around the shop. I have like a little table with wheels, so I'll slide it out the back and I'll just kind of shift it over to the table. Yeah. So it's manageable.
That would be that would be handy because that's one thing that would be nice if your vehicle served dual purpose.
Yeah.
And if you take all the drawers out actually before you try and move it, then it's like
nothing.
It's no problem.
We have a desk at home that's that way, like with all the drawers and stuff in it. Like
it's 9,000 pounds.
It's a 2-man job, and like it's almost impossible because there's nowhere to get a hold of it.
You're like, how is this thing that heavy?
But you take all the drawers out, and then you start thinking about how much wood you're removing, and it's like, now it's essentially like a frame.
Yeah.
Most average persons don't want to install a base plate, like remove a seat or do construction on their vehicle.
Well, and I like the seat removal thing is always hard for me because there's always people in it. Whether it's we're going to dinner and we're stopping by and picking
friends,
somebody
kids,
up, or
whatever.
We've got kids in it or something. I mean, the kids are a little less of an issue, and maybe someday I'll just remove the seats so I don't have to worry about passengers. But
man, you go full Jim or full Steve.
Sorry. One seat.
Yeah. We'll have Steve on a podcast one day, but this guy's about to have a 1-seater Jeep because it's just him in the Jeep.
Yeah. I don't need the front seat.
Doesn't need the front seat.
He gave me a ride the other day, and he's like, "You may be one of the last people that ever rides in this Jeep because I'm going to take that out." That is really cool. They all come out in one unit, like you said, having a cart or something, especially if you had it like pretty much level, even with one person. You can
slide it onto something,
and then roll it into the
roll
garage
in the corner of the garage,
and then slide it
camping,
back.
And roll it back in 4 turnbuckles.
Yeah,
and then I ran a single, like a positive and negative from the starting battery, so a 6-gauge cable back.
Yeah,
that connects with an Anderson plug to the Red Arc DC to DC charger.
Yeah,
and then it's connected to the vehicle.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep.
So I know that this is probably maybe a bit of a difficult question because it is so bespoke, but kind of like, what's your price point? If somebody's looking to get drawers from you.
Yeah, honestly, I have no problem telling prices.
Yeah.
And I think companies that have a problem telling price, I don't understand that personally.
Yeah. So I meant more of like, because it is so bespoke.
Oh,
kind of like,
so realistically, like the standardized drawer system will start around $1,800. You figure that would be your starting point. And I tell people it's kind of like building a house, right? If you build a 2-story house, it's going to be more than a 1-story house.
Yeah, sure.
You had square footage, things like that.
Yeah.
So it can go mild to wild really fast.
Yeah.
And I've also done custom vans as well. So building a van is the same thing. It's like you can do a simple van build, or you can do like all out with heated floors.
Yeah.
So with the drawers, I would say on average, the drawer part of them, by the just drawers, no electrical, no anything else, you could go from 1,800 to about 35 to 4K.
Yeah.
Somewhere around
Depending
there.
on how many slides you're putting in it.
Yeah, and how big is it? Because a Suburban is bigger, way bigger.
Yeah, sure.
Than a Forerunner. So it's bigger, more wood. The slides are way bigger.
Yeah, way heavier, way more expensive.
Because I was going to say, like the slide on yours, it's that like 50 odd inches or whatever.
Well, yeah, I think those are 2 30-inch slides, or either 230 or 228. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But they're lock in, lock out, and if you price those online, I mean they're they could be $100 per set of slides.
Yeah. No, I mean
or more.
I think the sub slides were like 200 and something a piece.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Those big 50, like 60-inch slides, those are expensive.
Yeah.
And not a place you want to skimp because like when they fell, they fell spectacularly, and the drawer doesn't shut anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's stuck open or stuck closed. Either way, it's bad.
Yeah, and if you're, if anyone listening, if you're thinking about building a drawer system, my recommendation, if you're going to use the 250 pound, because there's like your regular drawer slides, which are like rated for 100 pounds. Then you have the 200. No, then actually they just started making 150-pound lock-in, lock-out slides.
Okay.
That are half-inch in width, right? So a normal drawer slide in your kitchen would be about half-inch in width.
Yeah.
So remember, you're losing a half-inch on each side.
Yeah.
Then the drawer itself. So then you have like the next step would be 150 pound lock-in, lock-out. Then 250 pound.
Okay.
Which is what I use, anything under 30 inches.
Okay.
So like in my system, you don't want to go out too far with the 250-pound slide, because then I do a double slide, so now I'm out 60 inches.
Right. And they're both 250-pound slides?
They're both 250, but, realistically...
Yeah, you could get away with something slightly smaller, at least on one of them, probably.
Yeah.
But then you go suburban size, and then you go to the heavy duty, which is rated for 500 pounds.
Okay.
And those things are super heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy duty as well.
Yeah, and super expensive.
The 100-pound and the 250 are a really good starting point.
Yeah, okay, cool.
For builds.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I have a truck vault in the back of my truck now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I got to figure out what I'm doing with the truck first. Then make decisions. But
yeah, figure the
you
truck
have a truck vault in...
Or not truck vault, I'm sorry. What do I have decked? I have decked.
Yeah.
Deck
system. It's like, when did this happen?
No, I'm sorry.
Which truck?
Decked, yeah. Which truck? I had truck vault.
Do you have decked
ago.
1.0 or 2.0?
I have 1.0.
1.0.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those for the money. For the money, they're hard to beat.
Yeah.
And it's an open bed truck, so it's...
Yeah, that's a good thing to touch on right now also is I build my drawers with a cabinet grade birch plywood. I'm sourcing a lightweight version of it, significantly lighter than Baltic birch. And then I coat all of the drawers with 3 coats of Raptor liner, which is it's a urethane epoxy based.
Yeah.
It's a 2-part urethane, and you have to shoot it with a gun. So I'll do 3 coats of that, and I actually coat not only the outside but the insides of the drawer, bottom. So all of the areas, everything is coated. But back to the truck, because I've had a lot of requests for a truck bed. Anywhere where there's screw holes or bolt holes, right, it's made with wood.
Right.
Raptor liner is water, oil, and gas resistant, but wherever there's water, and if it's baking in the sun, the water could find its way in. So if you do have a truck and want a drawer system, and you make it out of wood, you need a tonneau cover.
Yeah, you need something
cover,
to seal it.
cap,
something to keep everything
like
off it. So you use a spray gun for... The nice thing about Raptor liner stuff is that you can buy the cans of it. So if you actually chip it or something,
correct,
you can actually go back in and sort of touch it up and
if you so here's a little tip if you're going to do that. You can get so they have 2 different kinds of Raptor liner guns. You have the 1K and the 2K. The 1K is just shake it and shoot.
Yeah.
The 2K has the 2 parts inside of the can. So you smash the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I've had, I guess.
You smash the bottom, but you only have about 45 minutes to an hour to shoot
use it, yeah.
Right? I don't recommend that stuff if you're going to do touch-ups, because the bottle is going to be gone in 45
whatever
minutes.
it is, yeah.
And when you shoot that stuff, it shoots like a fire extinguisher. You got to be like 3 feet away.
You have to stay back.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, because when I've used that, I actually go through and sort of chip off anything I think is loose.
But the real tip
and then
is
you're like,
use the 1K, take a paper plate, spray a bunch of it in a plate or a disposable bowl, and then grab a regular pink sponge from your kitchen.
Yeah,
and then make sure the part that you're actually going to repair is clean, and then dab it with a sponge. And dab it on.
Okay.
And it'll give you that texture. So when it dries, you'll never know that it was actually.
So do you clean it with anything specific, like anything special, or just like acetone or alcohol or something?
Yeah, either or.
Okay.
Yeah, water then alcohol. If you get something, just make sure.
Just make sure there's no oil in it.
Yeah.
That would be whatever.
Yeah.
I was going to say too, I like that you use Raptor liner because I think of those, it probably has the best texture because it's not like. Is it Herculiner that turns into sandpaper?
Yeah, Linex also can be sandpaper-like.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Linex they can do a bunch of weird stuff with.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 9 million ways to gun Linex.
Yeah, I did.
But the thing, like I said, the tough thing about Linex, and I don't know what its durability is and difference, but it's harder to repair yourself. self-repair.
And to my knowledge, I don't think you can do it at home. Like
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like
exactly.
you can't, like you have to have a Linex person come in and
Yeah.
Right.
I did a truck bed in Herculiner, and oh man, I had to go back actually and like roll over it with maybe I got like the Raptor liner or Monster liner that was like smoother.
Okay.
Because it was so.
If you like slid stuff in and out of it,
it would tear it up.
Oh yeah, like plastic boxes, it would literally like you'd see little pieces of plastic. It was like abrading off. Yeah.
Like sandpaper.
Yeah. No.
It's like an 80 grit.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe even worse. But no, it's for sure. Now, like I said, that Raptor liner stuff is pretty.
Yeah, and if you're
slick. So you have a regular like gun.
Well, I actually use 2 guns. Here's another tip: if you're gonna paint like any DIY projects with Raptor liner, they give you a gun in the kit, and then you can get another gun, like they have a higher end gun that you can kind of dial in and refine the spray. So what I found is the best application for me is I'll start with that higher end gun because I'm able to get kind of a lighter coverage.
Okay.
With it. So you go light, the first coat light. Yeah. You don't want to paint the whole... You don't want to try and cover everything in the first coat.
Yeah.
Do the second coat again with that gun. And then the third coat, I switch to the regular standard gun. And the reason I do that, it gives it that... I don't know, it gives it a better texture.
Okay.
And then it gives you that smoothness and the overall... up the pressure of your air compressor.
Okay.
Go up to like 90, 95 PSI.
Okay.
Shoot back further, and then it blends everything together. Because with Raptor, it's very easy to get streaks.
Yeah, or like round spots that look like
globs.
Yeah. I've had that.
It's like really wet spot here.
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh man,
thinner over there. Yeah, I've had a little of that trouble, like said, patch and stuff, and I've played with that a little bit.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky to get.
Yeah.
And not that it doesn't chip that often, but on the face of drawers and stuff like that.
You're gonna bang into
stuff too.
Yeah.
It's
nice to have that option to be able to just like touch it up.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. If we got time while you're here, like to we're gonna go walk around. Also, we haven't touched on this. I almost feel like we just need to like lead in. It's got a kick-ass trailer.
It's made out of a van, an Astro van.
Half a van.
So we'll put a link into the video for the Astro van.
The drawersystems.com is also halfavan.com.
Halfavan.com.
If you bring him an Astro van and a salsa, Chad will make you a trailer.
As long as you have the budget.
we have done. This is probably maybe the best podcast we've done at staying on task.
Yeah.
We have not diverted at all. It's really impressive. You're really good for us because
early in the morning, so we're not hungry. We didn't go to food.
All right.
Yeah.
Although you have some beef jerky, we should have been trying.
Oh yeah, sorry. We do. The Beef Jerky Chronicles are back in business.
Yeah.
We had a full episode dedicated to the best beef jerky where we like scored them on like taste, texture, and
I don't remember.
Nice.
We're bringing back.
It's like hot ones for beef jerky.
Yeah, we rated them all out.
Blind jerky tasting. We could spread them all out here.
Yeah, Bobby brought us like a tote bag of samples.
Like
different
great.
ones. Yeah. So the problem is we have to go back to that episode.
Right now, see,
squirrel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the listeners would be like, they've been replaced by,
by robots.
Yeah.
Our previous editor used to complain all the time that everything ended up at food.
Yeah.
Right,
Every episode ended up on food.
And see, the problem was once he started complaining about it, then we made sure that we did.
Yeah, then we had to.
Yeah. You have to
more like a challenge.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what, we circled back to food. But Logan's okay.
Actually, let's get back on topic here.
Yeah.
When you have a drawer system, and I'm not plugging myself. Listen, at the end of the day, you do not need a drawer system to go camping.
Sure,
let's get this
you don't need
out
anything,
there.
right?
Because I don't want.
But you do need organizations. If you decide to go the soft goods way, Blue Ridge Overland Gear happens to be our sponsor.
There'll be a link to that in the just right up there.
Which can fit in a drawer system.
That's very true. Yeah.
But no, what were you saying? We didn't mean.
No, I was going to say it's like when for me, back to my initial time camping, just the simple task of cooking.
Oh yeah.
Since we're talking about food. It was awful because I didn't know where things were, and then once you have it, where do you set it up?
Yeah.
So in my case, that was the thing for me. It's like we have 3 kids, and I wanted to just get to camp, and start cooking because they're always complaining they're hungry, right? Yeah. It's natural. Kids are hungry. I'm hungry. So with the drawers, I could literally actually funny. I took my son to a UM football game a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I pulled in late in the parking lot, and I took the drawer out. I slid the table out, and it was like what the prairie dogs like popping up.
Yeah.
I had guys coming over from different angles, like, what's that? Because I started cooking hot dogs in like 45 seconds after I parked.
Yeah.
Where they're, they take like a half an hour to set up
Get
and
all
do
the crap
tents
out.
and-
Yeah.
And I'm like already making hot dogs, and that's the key. It's like, I think overlanding's kind of almost become like, how fast can I get everything set up?
No, 100%.
And then do nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
And then do nothing.
And then do nothing.
I mean, so honestly, that's I talk about this quite a bit, but that's on the appeal to a lot of this gear for me. So like last weekend was trout fishing with some buddies, and I took a Gazelle tent for them, slept in my IU cab, but like it was like, I'm here to fish. I don't want to take half a day to set up. So
Or break down.
Yeah, by the time we pulled in,
Breakdown.
my tent's up, sleeping bag and pillows already in there. It took us, 60 seconds to get the Gazelle up, threw 2 cots in there.
So 5 minutes after you parked, you're already on the way to the fishing.
100%.
Yeah.
We're hanging out, and, it's in the mountains. It's going to do, well, we don't want to pack everything up. Throw the awning out. Just put your camp chairs and
Stuff underneath there. Yeah. No, and I think that going back to what you're saying about the going to the parking lot, and like there's my youngest daughter ropes constantly, so we're always at something. But so she'll go to the practice. She'll go to the practice pen on say Tuesday nights at like they start roping maybe 6 o'clock.
3 hours.
But at least we're there 6 to 10. But by 6:30, I'm like, where's the coffee?
Right.
Right. And it's like, oh, it's in my truck. Well, yeah, right. It's only taking me a minute. I'm gonna,
Yeah, go make one.
Right, because and I think that's when you kind of have your crap together and organized and with you, it's like you're just way more off to be like, oh, this would be really handy. Yeah,
right.
Be really. I really could go for a cup of coffee right now. Oh, man, pull out my press.
Yeah, the easier something is to use, you'll use it more.
Sure. No, I mean, there's like a bunch of research. They were talking about. There's a few books on this, but there's a bunch of research of like proximity when you're trying to learn things.
Yeah.
Like they're talking about, like if you want to learn to play an instrument, it has to be within X number of feet of you.
Yeah.
So that when you're, when you've got the time, you can just grab it and pick it up. Like literally across the room sometimes is too much.
Right.
Like
right.
that because
I don't
you just
feel like going over there.
Right. Yeah.
No,
right.
But if it's right there, you'll pick it up and you'll start to play. I mean, like that's totally me, right? Like if it's not visible in another room, I would never pick it up.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's like, if I can see, it's okay, great.
It's
Yeah.
there.
No. All right. I'll
So that's been my
not
whole
that
thing.
I haven't played in a couple of years now, but because I've been moving and it's not within proximity. But back when
I need to move your banjo into the kitchen at
right,
the house. Yeah.
right, yeah, and then run my wife out because she drives her crazy when I'm practicing when I'm playing my banjo. So
No, that's my whole thing with my new desk since I'm moving the home office is like I tie
we're
flies.
making room for
Yeah. I got kicked out.
got
kicked out of my space upstairs. I tie flies, but like that takes up a ton of room on a desk, and then I'm really bad to like when I'm working from home to just work on the couch, which we know is less efficient.
Yeah.
I used to teach a class about how less efficient that was, but
Yeah.
So it was like I'm just gonna build a double desk because if I have to get all my crap out to tie flies, I'm probably not gonna do it. But if I'm literally looking at the vise and everything's out, sit down and crank 4 or 5 out, fill up the box in some spots. So now I've just got my.
Do you have a dedicated fly desk? And
It's one big desk, 2 bays. There's the workstation and then the tying station. Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like literally just roll the chair out and then roll it back in. Yeah. One thing that we haven't touched on, I keep trying to figure a segue. You've got to get on Chad's site or get on his Instagram or look up a hashtag, because the one thing I can't overstate is like the quality. Like every time I see one of your builds, not just like one of your ones for an event. I mean, like I've seen people's that had your drawers, even the early ones. It's like you can't find a flaw. Like the radius, the spacing. Yeah.
But that's because you make them.
That's a creator's curse.
This. Yes.
Sure. It's one of the things.
I always say you got to have like a degree of separation.
100%.
Well, my mom, she's like, you can't be, because I end up taking too much time because, you're
100%.
really trying to get things absolutely perfect. But thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I do, I have a bit of OCD, so, things have to be lined up.
Yeah.
It
has to be square.
Yeah, it has to be. Or if it's not square, it has to look square. You know what I mean? So,
And I was going to say,
to
that's
the visible eye.
Yeah.
People don't realize when you talk about the box, you're not building a box with 4 sides. Like you're building a box that has some 4 sides inside of it, But there's all these like open. Crazy like you know angles and like the back of your Land Rover. I noticed.
So going back to what you were saying about chairs and couches and things like that. So I've found that almost every vehicle seat back.
Yeah.
So if you measure the angle of the seat back, it's around 67 to 70 degrees.
Okay.
So that's about the angle of the seat back. Providing comfort. So what I do is I'll taper the backside of the drawer to match the angle of the vehicle's seat. So that way, if you put one, let's say you have a 40-60 split, you put one of them down, the back angle of the drawer matches the seat. So visually, it's like one of those OCD things I think just gives it a little extra touch.
Yeah.
And I like to utilize that back section also for storage, or in my case, all the electricals literally behind the second row.
Nice.
In that void area.
That tapered void area.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. It's interesting industry wise, like the sort of adventure travel or whatever you want to call it, the eclectic group of people that show up, like where they've come from and kind of how they
how do you get to this point?
Yeah, it's really it's always interesting to me when you talk about what people do or whatever. Jim runs a tow truck company and scrap steel and and then you come from the nightclub industry and Rick comes from working at colleges and I'm not sure where I came from exactly, but it's interesting that, like I said, you get to meet some really interesting people that do some pretty neat stuff and develop side projects that suddenly turn into
full-time projects.
That turn into they sort of take that lifestyle to kind of the next level. And I couldn't imagine trying to get out of Miami to get anywhere that would be. So because you guys are looking at maybe moving, right?
We're actually gonna start looking into like North Carolina area. So
Shenandoah Valley. I was thinking about that last night. Shenandoah Valley would be a good place too because you're close to Dulles.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not too far from the Dulles airport, which will get you everywhere.
Yeah.
And the valley is
and that's here in Virginia.
Yeah, it's north of us.
So the end of the parkway.
Yeah.
Starts at the south end of Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So
we'll have to put that on the radar.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. That's worth checking out because that's.
I mean, I guess it technically starts like an hour from here. Because it's like Waynesboro, it's like the end of Shenandoah, and that's about 45 minutes from here. So,
and then it's probably an hour long or better, maybe more than that, maybe 2 hours long. The valley is so, and it's it's kind of right between all the mountains and stuff, and
I mean, for me right now, it's like
it's an economical
just to get
place
out
to
of
live.
Florida. It's like 7 hours just to get out of the state. So to come to events like Rooftop Tent Rally, it's a commitment. It's 14, 15-hour drive to get here. And being in the industry, it's like, I'm looking at 2025 and saying, okay, I would love to do like 4 or 5 events at least, to go.
Yeah, but you've got 2 travel days, from
just
where you're
to get
at now.
started.
Each way.
Just to get in. You've got it bookended it with a day in Florida.
Yeah. So currently, we've been on the road.
138 days, right? That's
it's day 139. Starting to lose track of time. But no, today is 2 weeks and a day since I left.
Yeah.
And then you're heading back next week or this weekend.
Right after Rooftop Tent Rally, I'll start heading back. I have a stop in Orlando and then down there.
Nice.
But it's been a great trip so far. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's great to have you. Like I said, I was thinking last night, it was like, I feel like I've known Chad a long time. And,
but not like.
Yeah. It was like I could not put a pin on it.
And it's funny, too, because it's like we've known each other for a long time, but haven't spent a lot of time. And that's
been the same place a number of times.
Right. Because you can only, even at an event, you can only share so much time with each person and things. So that also, like, part of this trip for me also was, networking, broadening the connections and just really taking more time to, spend time with you guys. That was the whole point of coming here.
Yeah.
We didn't plan this. It just happened.
And possibly getting really lost in the woods with Jim.
Yeah. Today we're going to we're going to leave the trailer here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go see what we can get into with just the 2 vehicles.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah. Hopefully have to break out a winch or 2.
Yeah. It's got such weird dates. I was going to tell you, like, a really fun trail, if it's open, is Enchanted Creek. And you guys could, like, totally go run it today and probably be back tonight. or just camp up there somewhere.
Sounds fantastic.
But it's it goes under the parkway on a really small tunnel.
Where?
Come on.
Enchanted Creek. I was thinking Bobble's Gap.
Oh yeah, no. So it's similar.
That would be small. That would be short.
Yeah, no. Enchanted
I mean,
Creek's
if you
a
want
little
to go
more
break stuff, you
interesting too.
We don't want to break. We want to
You can
push.
go. Well, I mean,
push a little.
You can turn around, but
remember, I got to drive back to Miami, so I can't be breaking.
No. Enchanted Creek has a few holes, and it's got one pretty cool like shell rock off camber section where you kind of go down these steps that kind of wobble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get in the deep water, you can go to like Potts.
And no, I have that in Miami. I don't need
a day.
No. Actually, he doesn't mean literal deep
water.
It's like
deep.
Go ahead and pull some cable in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Get your winch controller out.
Just throw the winch line up on the bumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your winch controller out. Throw it in the window because you're going to pull cable. I mean, there's a lot between North Carolina and here, North Georgia.
Yeah.
East Tennessee. I mean, all that is there's actually a good bit to do here. And the nice thing about regionally for us is it's all weekendable.
Exactly.
It's all 3-dayable.
And that's also the thought for me. It's being in proximity to, like, you're doing an event. If I'm, let's say, even 4 hours away, that'll be fantastic.
Right.
Oh, it's only 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's like driving to Tampa.
Right. Yeah.
Driving
to Tampa. No, it's our friends Rodney is coming up Thursday with his family, and that's it's like 10 hours to get out of
Oh, it's a haul.
It's 8 hours. I forget what it is, but it's like a huge drive just to start the drive.
Right.
Like, let alone go out west.
Right.
You go out west and you're 15, 16 hours from where you really need to start.
Yeah.
The crappy part of the drive.
Yeah. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Fun surprise. Absolutely. I just came to look at the shop.
And
hey, let's sit down.
Yeah, we have to act like this is closure, but he's going to be here hanging around a little while, and then we'll see him this weekend. But for the sake of the podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For the sake of the 12 listeners that are on here.
Yeah.
And the 3 that made it to the end.
Thank you.
We really appreciate
your
stamina.
So we'll have a bunch of links. Check out Chad's stuff, drawersystems.com. And if you're looking for a really nice bespoke set of drawers.
Or if you're looking for advice or anything else, I'm always, I'm a DIYer, hence the trailer you're going to see in a little bit.
Yeah.
I love the DIY community. And I really, one of the things I liked, I didn't get to do it at Overland Expo East, but I love going around all the camping areas.
Yeah, I'm looking at what everybody's doing.
Just to see the DIY drawer systems, because I've gotten a lot of good ideas. People come up with some really clever ways to organize their vehicles.
Yeah. Well, I saw a guy that had a like some sort of camper that just sits on the bed rails. It didn't have a floor, and he had built a drawer the full length of his Tundra long bed. On one side, and it wasn't very wide, but he was using the like plastic sliders.
Okay.
And I was shocked at how well it worked because, first off, this thing was built heavy, and second of all, he had a ton of crap in it.
Right.
But he didn't have any mechanical sliders. I can't think of the type of the plastic they use.
Usually it's like either Starboard or HDPE plastic.
Yeah, like some sort of like slick HDPE. Yeah.
And I think that's what Drifta uses in their stuff, because they don't use mechanical hardware either.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're building something, go to the website, check out ideas, and shoot me an email.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, good deal, guys.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends. Leave us a review. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.